Sheep producers face a variety of challenges ranging from predators to extreme weather conditions to decreased lamb consumption in the U.S. Currently, the average annual consumption of lamb is less than 1 pound per year, and according to the American Lamb Board's latest consumer research, more than a third of Americans have never even tried lamb. During World War II, many of our military veterans were fed mutton while overseas. Mutton is a sheep over 1 year of age. Older sheep do not taste the same as young, tender lamb, which is under 1 year of age. So combined with the ravages of war and being fed mutton that was in all likelihood very poorly prepared, you have a generation of folks that don't like lamb. Unfortunately, some pass that sentiment along to friends and family. After all these years, periodically this mindset still emerges. Fortunately, through the efforts of the American Lamb Board, state sheep associations, and sheep producers, this notion has largely been dispelled. More immediate threats to the sheep industry are in the form of restrictions on predator control, use of livestock protection dogs, restrictions on federal land grazing, labor shortages and restrictions, animal rights and environmental extremist activist groups, urban sprawl and development, increasing production costs, and imports.
The challenges that face a sheep producer, obviously, and probably most people know this, is our predator problem. We have coyotes and bear and lion and bobcats, just a abundance of predators that predate on the sheep. We've tried to correct the predator problem with our LPDs, livestock protection dogs. There's a special breed of dogs that protect our animals, mostly for predators from predation from coyotes. Bear and lion, they're not very effective with them, but we have our wildlife services that try to keep those predators under control. Another issue with the sheep range operators is our labor situation. We have to import our laborers from Peru or Chile or Mexico or Bolivia, and that's a costly operation. We get men here. It takes us approximately a year to break the men in right to where they know the country and they know the sheep and know the process, and it's very different. They are sheep herders where they come from, but it's very different land that they come from. It's all open, there's no trees, so our labor situation is an issue, and it's so cumbersome to get those people here. It's through the H-2A program. It's a very good program, but it takes almost 6 months to get a man that will come here. And once you get them here, some of the herders don't. It's not exactly what they thought they would be facing, so they stay for 3 or 4 months, sometimes 6 months, and then they want to go back home. So that's an added cost. So those are some of our biggest challenges in the range sheep operation.
An example this year is the bear problem. I've lost close to 50 head of lambs and ewes now, and then on top of that, the number of ewes and lambs that I have to cull, or lambs that aren't going to make slaughter weight like even next year as mutton, from being mauled, and it's just pretty astronomical. I'm down from my purebred Shetland flock of between 100 and 150 ewes down to 55 registered ewes that are keepable. Chewed up, thin bit bags. I've got a silver ewe in here. Her udder's just ripped. I could show it to you later. It's a mess, and you can't put her back. And she's got one side that still works, but she's a 3-year-old ewe. I'll have a lion kill one night, and he'll have chewed up 3 or 4 ewes before he finally grabbed the lamb that he wanted.
Federal regulations are an integral part of our operations from day to day. The biggest challenge that we face with that is it can change from year to year. And many of those decisions are made in urban areas that don't understand how we run things on this side of the mountain, and what effect it might actually have in our operations. Therefore, it's a domino effect, so that might show up in your grocery stores with the price increases or the limited supply that they might have because of the constant changes in the regulations and people not wanting to face those changes, especially young people. They have to they come into an operation and they see the different challenges and different people making all these different decisions for their operation, not just them, but relying on other people, and it makes it for a frustrating event for them, and it doesn't allow them to run their operations as they would really want to.
In terms of maintaining a sustainable industry, there are several things that come to mind that I see that are impacting us dramatically. And market volatility is huge. We're experiencing that currently in the last year and a half, and I see that as a big problem moving forward. Part of that equation, of course, is the influx of imports and their dollar value, maybe perhaps undercutting our price. That's not helping us domestically in our pricing structure right now. In addition to that, we're looking at environmental issues. We've got bighorn sheep conflict with domestic sheep that have forced longtime ranchers off of permits that have been in their family for generations that no longer are in use because of that. And that's not helping. I mean, that's hard to stimulate growth when you're kicking people off of their permits. We've got predation is huge. You've got mountain lion, bear, wolves in Idaho, potentially in Colorado. And currently here in our situation here in the feed yard, we deal with coyotes more than anything else. We've had losses since early July, substantial losses from coyotes right here in the feedlot. So that's a huge issue, and that's something that, you know, the market's one thing, but you've got all these other issues that come to mind. And again, in terms of sustainability, we've got several things. One of them that's key is our input costs, our fuel costs. The farmers are paying $4 a gallon for diesel fuel to produce a crop that I'm paying currently somewhere near $7 to $8 a bushel for corn. And it's going to require pretty healthy pricing on the sales side of our livestock to compensate for those input costs that we're dealing with as an industry, and everybody's dealing with it, from production clear through. Freight costs just to get livestock to the feedlot is dramatically higher than it was 2-3 years ago. I mean, so it's going to have a tremendous impact on all the industry. So, you know, we're going to have to either see reduced input costs, or we're going to have to figure out how to get more out of our product as we move forward.